penalty area. The youngster goes on and smashes it home.
Off the Craven!
Shaw buries it. Forest have hit 5 against Derby.
Good times. Hopefully that we have more memories to celebrate and to make come 3 o'clock on Saturday. Hello guys though, and welcome back to All Things Trentside. I hope you're all well. It's good to speak to you again. It's been a really hectic week in regards to football and uploading. I've probably uploaded more times this week than I did probably in the first 3 months of this channel. But of course it's because Forest are playing 3 times in 1 week, so we've had to do match previews and match reviews. But we're finally at the final game of the week, and it's the big one. It's the one that everyone's talking about and everyone looks for when the fixtures first come out. It's Derby away. Forest go to Pride Park to continue their good start since the lockdown was ended for football. So this is going to be my match preview, a very different way, of course, that we'd be looking at Forest Derby. I mean, if I'd have started the channel without all this happening, then the game would have already happened. This would probably be talking about pre-season. And the majority of you listening probably would have been going to the game. But now, I say the majority of you listening, all 15 of you, but in all seriousness, you would have been going to the game. You would have been doing your routine, whatever you do before a match day or an away day, singing your hearts out for the boys for 90 minutes and hoping for 3 points. But now things are a little different now, and a lot of things have changed since the postponement. The Forest were meant to play Derby a few weeks after. But of course, football is suspended. Both teams have done okay since the lockdown has been lifted in football. I will come on onto that in a minute. But yeah, Forest Derby kicks off at 12:30 on Saturday. If you don't know already, which probably 99.9% of Forest fans and Derby fans know. But if you don't, it is live on Sky Sports. You can catch the commentary on BBC Radio Nottingham as well. I think I was watching the Bristol City game the other day. Colin Frey said the coverage starts at 12 o'clock on that one, I think. I might be wrong, but yeah, you can listen to full match commentary as well, or watch it on Sky, or buy it on iFollow, whichever way you prefer. But guys, let's get into the preview then. For this game, it's a massive game for both clubs. Both teams eyeing a playoff spot. Forest, we spoke about in the review against Bristol City, the game review against Bristol City. That Forest still have an outside chance of the top 2, and depending on what happens Saturday, could be a real stepping stone in Forest season. It could be a defining moment in Forest season. But let's just go through the team news. So Forest, big news for them really was Joe Lolly, who was taken off at half-time against Bristol City, so no immediate concern about him. I don't know, people saying he looked tired, people say it could be an injury, but it will be a huge blow if Lolly isn't available. Him and Amiobi, of course, are the go-to wingers, that's why Albert Adoma went out on loan. I don't think, no disrespect, none of us want to see Diakarby starting in that role, although I did say a few weeks ago that Diakarby is going to do something. You can just see how poor of a player he's been for us at the moment. He's going to pop up with a winner against Derby or in the playoffs at some point. But no, hopefully Lolly isn't too serious. But of course, with that there will be a replacement. Like I said, Diakarby is probably the obvious answer, but another man who could replace him is the man that come on at half time against Bristol City to replace him. That's Nuno da Costa. Looked quite composed on the ball, drew a few fouls. Pacey, which Forest do lack in certain, in areas on the pitch. So it might bring an extra berth, having another striker as well. So if things go wrong, we can switch to the 2 up front. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Lolly is fit, but if he isn't, it's one of them things. Alex Martin also is a good shout, the youngster. Lamucci isn't afraid to start youth in games, so you never know, and especially without having the crowd on your back. It's a perfect chance for a youth player to impress. The fans aren't on his back as you were if you would be a fan who were in the stadium. Matty Cash and Ryan Yates both bit head injuries in the game against Bristol City, but you would say that not we're going to say they should be fit. It's not about being fit, but if they pass obviously concussion, Cash obviously had that heavy landing with the advertising boards after a boot from Andy Vyman, and Ryan Yates got clattered by, I think it was Dan Bentley at the time, in goal for Bristol City, and he ended up with a bloody nose as well. So both should be fine. It'll be interesting. We all mentioned now is Samba So. Will he start instead of Yates? Due to, of course, coming on for the last few minutes against Bristol City, getting a run out. Will Lamucci risk him and play him from the start, and we'll see then him play 60 odd minutes? Or will he stick with what he's gone for since lockdown has ended and stick with Ryan Yates in there? Ben Watson's a cert to start, but it will be interesting to see who starts, either Yates or Samba Sow. I think he'll go for Sal. I think that was the reason he didn't start against Bristol City, and gave him a little run out just to get him, back up to speed. Things he didn't really get as long as I thought he might have done, but just to get him back out there, get a feel for it, and then start the big game Saturday. But we need him. And the record we've got of him is incredible. Every time we mention Samba So on this channel, we talk about the record, but it's something you have to do. And it's someone really who is intimidating, especially, like I say, he allows Ben Watson to sit back and Sal to go forward. He's got that little bit of pace just to get back, bit more pace than Watson, what he lacks. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes in that respect. Would I be surprised if Yates started a little bit, but the way he's played, he hasn't had too much of a bad few games. He won the most aerial duels in the Bristol City game, so I keep saying it, but it will be very interesting going forward. But I think it will be more or less the same team, if not. There's obviously the doubt with Lolly and So or Yates debate. Other than that, I think it'll be, your Samba, Cash, Figueiredo, Worrell, Ribeiro, Watson, Amiobi, Silva and Graben, and then the other two positions are up for grabs. Any other than that, I'll be very shocked. But moving on to the visitors, Derby County, they do have a few long-term injuries who won't be making the game. Christian Bielik was ruled out for the end of the season, I think, in January, February time. I think he got ruled out. I can't remember who he got injured against now. He did his ACL, so he's out for the season anyway. He wasn't going to make it. And Jack Marriott as well. Lewis Graben's opposite, if you would. People were saying when we bought Graben for $6 million and they bought Marriott, it was going to be good business for them, bad business for us, and look how that's turned out. But he won't be playing due to an injury. He did have surgery in the weeks, or the other day, I can't remember. I read it earlier that he did have surgery, and he won't be missing. He'll probably miss the remainder of the season. Bit of a blow for that derby. You always do need an extra striker, especially now with the rule you can bring 5 subs on. He has got the pace. You see it in the playoff semi-final last year against Leeds. He did come on and change that game for Derby, and he can score crucial goals. As much as Forest fans ridicule him for his goals to game ratio at Derby at the moment, he has got that chance where if it'll fall to him in the box, he can punish you. But the other news that we will be missing for Derby, is Andre Wisdom. Just want to say, Browers aside, if you did read this, the horrific thing that happened to him, he was robbed and stabbed while visiting family in Liverpool. No room for that, and no matter who you support, it's a horrific thing to happen. I hope he makes a full and speedy recovery. My wishes do go out to him, but he won't be available for the game. And Tom Huddleston will not be playing either. He was released from his contract after it expired on Wednesday. The Derby man, born in Derby, I think he was born in Nottingham, but he started his career at Derby, came back, but it looks like now he'll play no further part in a Derby shirt again. I think Philip Cocker's found his mixtures going forward though, and who he likes to play, and I don't think Huddleston was involved in that. But yeah, that's the team who's going forward. Derby do have a few key players that will be missing, especially as well. Another one, Tom Lawrence, is suspended after picking the red card up against Reading. He had a clash with Mats. Is it Mizaga you say it? But them two had a clash and Lawrence was sent off, so he'll be missing for that. Big boost for that for Forest. I know people call Tom Lawrence, obviously what happened earlier in the season, but he is a very good player still. He scored for Derby in that game as well. He can score, he can punish you. He scored a few great goals this season. So it will be a big blow for Derby to have him missing. They did manage to do it against Preston in midweek without him. I know he's not Derby's key player, but he is one of them going forward. So I think they will miss just that creativity going forward and him on the wing. It would have been a good matchup between him and Cash, because Cash has grew into the season. And again, Lawrence can play with freedom, especially got pelters at the City Ground, but he would have been in front of his own fans, and with no fans on him to say anything at him at all, he would have been able to just play with freedom, but he'll be missing through suspension. But yeah, we move on to the form guide, and it's probably the form guide that the Derby fans are looking forward to reading. I mean, I know they're not going to be listening to this, but if they were, they will be excited for this part, because they are in a great run of form, it has to be said. They've won 5 in a row. They've won all 3 games since the restart. Against Millwall, they won 3-2. A 2-1 victory against Reading, and Preston on Wednesday with 1-0 victory. They're only second in the form table. Wigan have got more points. Other than that, Derby is second with 5 wins and 1 defeat. The 1 defeat came against QPR, and this is seen to have sparked Derby's run. And in that run, they were 14th in the table after that defeat to QPR. And 11 points off the playoff places, but now these 5 wins have propelled them up to 7th in the table and 1 point off the top 6. Win on midday, they'll go into the top 6, which is a big incentive for Derby, especially as well. They'll close the gap to us. Of course, Millwall are playing on Friday night against Charlton. If Millwall win, the gap will go down to 1 point. Millwall will be behind Derby, so they're of course also looking back rather than up. But as for us, we're unbeaten in 3 games now. Since the lockdown, we've had a good start. It should be really 3 wins from 3. We always mention the Sheffield Wednesday goal now on this channel again. It's something I'll probably mention until the season's over, because it looks like at the moment it could be pretty costly in regards to automatic promotion anyway, not so much the playoffs. But we're looking for 4 games unbeaten. This is going to be the first time Forest would have done this since lockdown. It was, though, 3 draws and a win in that time, but still 4 games unbeaten. We're looking for 3 wins in a row as well. This is going to be the first time since the Christmas period, when we beat Hull on Boxing Day, Wigan, and then Blackburn on New Year's Day. So we're looking for incentives now just to get a bit of momentum leading up to the obviously hopefully the playoffs, or towards the end of the season, show teams that whoever gets us in the playoffs, if we are to stay there, that we mean business, because we're on such a good run of form. We are looking for our first win away since Cardiff, though, when Thiago Silva scored the only goal. We've been good travellers this season, though. We've been very good on the road, which sometimes Forest aren't really good at. But yeah, it's going to be interesting in that respect. Both teams going in a great run of form now, especially Derby. They've got to be cautious. I know they say in Derby games, form book always goes out the window, but now with no fans in there, no fans to spur Derby on, in such a game like this, is it going to be hostile for them? And going forward, is it going to allow Forest to play with a bit of pressure? Like, it'll be a hostile atmosphere for the Forest players. No one on their backs, no one chanting, swear words at them or booing them when they go forward, and 30,000 fans that would have been in that stadium make a difference. And just to hear now, there's people, everything, right? The manager's instructions, people clapping, people shouting. Is that going to just stay Forest now? We can go there and, once it cause an upset, it would be a turn up for the books if Forest were to win, due to the fact of Derby's great run at the minute. But they always say all good runs had to come to an end. But equally, Derby, of course, will be wanting to do us over. Obviously, we've played them twice this season, beat them in the Cup 3-0 and beat them at home 1-0 in the league. So they'll be looking to avoid the first league double over Forest, to do the first league double over them since the 10-11 season, when we beat them 5-2 at home and 1-0 at Pride Park. So they'll be looking to catch us as well. A few wins and a few defeats for us and them, and we go from swapping places, really, from being miles apart, it looked like it was going to happen at some stage of the season, to they're above us. But it's what happens in the Championship. It's a very competitive league, isn't it? Say Derby were 14th, 11 points off the playoffs a few games ago, and now a win on Saturday lunchtime, they're into the top 6 and probably aren't looking back. But I feel they've got some really tough games coming up. This one and West Brom makes or breaks their season. For Forest, it's not too bad because I think we've just got that cushion. But I think a win here would do us the world of good going into the Fulham game and the Preston game. And probably will put us a few, say 1 foot in the playoff. Say a few toes at the minute would be in the playoffs if we got a win tomorrow. Especially because we don't know what's going to happen on the Saturday games. But of course, if we get that win and then teams drop points around us, we are gonna, thrive off that and look back and think it's going to be an amazing win anyway if we get one. But this will be even more bigger win if results go our way on Saturday as well. But of course, Forest have had 2 wins this season, as I spoke about. Looking for 4 wins in a row over Derby. This will be the first time since the 1950s, so you can see how much this fixture means to both teams and how it is rare when teams can run away with it. That'll be from the 1-0 win when Ben and Wan scored, and then the 2 wins this season. Derby won't like the reminder that they haven't scored against Forest in the last 992 days since recording this. Of course, there is a thing on Twitter that someone made after the 1-0 victory against Derby in November, that days that Derby haven't scored against Forest. A goal's going to come at some point. It would be nice if it wasn't going to be then, because it would fulfil the role for longer of how many games they've not scored against us. They did score against us though in their last victory. That was the last time they beat us, and the 2-0 victory when Vidra scored inside 23 seconds and Nugent scored also. So they've got it in their locker though. They've scored goals for fun this season, especially in this run up now to the run they've been on. I said 3 at Millwall the other day, 2 at home to Reading. There will be goals in this one, I feel. I hope I'm not jinxed that. And I think Derby will break the duck this game? It's a tough one to say. You think they would. It's a game now they need to win. They're going to go all out for it, in my opinion. But Forest haven't got the best win ratio at Pride Park, as I mentioned beforehand. We've only won there, I think, twice since the turn of 2010. I think we've only won there twice since it opened. I can't remember what year it opened, but we won there in 2010 and most recently and most famously the 2015 victory against Derby in one of Stuart Pearce's last games when Ben Osborne scored that winner. We'd love another moment like that on Saturday, wouldn't we? It wouldn't mean as much, I believe, without the fans there, and of course we're in such a good position. I think that game was so good just because the way we started, and the second half we just come out, turned it around and got stuck in and got the win. But our record's not great at Pride Park, but I've said that about a few teams leading up to the previews that I've done. The record at Hillsborough wasn't too great. The record against Huddersfield wasn't great. Record against Bristol City wasn't great. And we've managed to kind of turn that around, and a few teams that have been our bogey teams this season we have defeated, which normally we would lose. But Lamucci's first day to go into Pride Park as well. It'll be interesting to see how he deals with that and how he sets up his team. But it will be the usual setup, but will be more cautious going forward. Will it be counter-attacking Forest, or will he think, you know what, let's just go for this? I don't think he's going to say that, but you never know, especially with Lamucci. I know he's not a colourful character, but sometimes he can play the team. You wouldn't be surprised if he picked Tyler Walker, because that's what he can do. And he won't, but unless Grabban got injured, which touch wood he doesn't, because we need him, but you never know. But it's his first visit to Pride Park. He'll get a first taste of it. Fortunately, it will be without any fans for him. I think, again, you say, get him on your back. It's hard to shake off sometimes, to focus. He's now literally got time to assess the situation going forward. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I'll get more into detail about it in a moment. Obviously, the key man for Derby, I think everyone knows. If you ever do a preview for a game, whether or not you're Sky, just the club for the club website, the match day programme, or doing something like this for me, the key man you're always going to pick for Derby is Wayne Rooney, aren't you? You know, he's the best player at Derby County by a country mile. Just for experience, and I know Forest fans, take the mick out of him, but if we had him, we'd be the same. He is a quality footballer. It pains me to say it because I used to like him when he was at Man U and Everton and that, but when he moved to Derby, you kind of hate him. Same with Frank Lampard and that, but they're still quality footballers, and he can prove he can still do a job. Hence we've seen his free kick on Wednesday. Yeah, the keeper did take a step to his left to allow it easy to whip it in the far corner, but you've still got to do that. He has scored 5 goals in 14 appearances for Derby this season as well. And since making his debut, is in that 14 games, there have been 9 wins. People saying the Rooney effect when he signed but he couldn't play, and Derby went on that run. I think they lose to Luton in that at Kenilworth Road in that time, and they looked like they were really gonna struggle this season, especially when I think Barnsley visited. And it looked like this could have been if Barnsley won here, because it was in a good run of form. Barnsley, I think, with the new manager who'd come in, and if they lost this, it'd have pulled Derby right into the mix. I remember going on Derby's timeline at the time after a game when they'd lost, and people were saying Philip Cocu out, and I don't think they'd be saying that now, but it was a real mess of the club at that time. But he's come in, galvanised the team, and hence why Derby are knocking on the door for the playoffs. But yeah, he's going to be the danger man from set pieces. He takes Derby's free kicks and penalties. Got to be cautious, not give away anything in range. We did defend set piece as well from a far side, but a direct free kick might be a lot harder. We have got Bryce in goal, who is capable of making a great save or two. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Samba versus Rooney. Rooney is a bit of a wind-up merchant. He was at Man U, and Samba doesn't take no prisoners when it comes to winding people up or trying to get the opposition to go on with it. So that'll be another good clash. The referee for this game is Darren England. Interestingly, I don't think they normally did this with referees, but Darren England took charge of the game at the City Ground earlier this season when we won 1-0 through Lewis Graven's goal. He's also been in charge of the 2-1 defeat to West Brom for Forest at the start of the season, and last refed Forest in the 2-2 draw against Middlesbrough, when Middlesbrough thought they should have had a foul on Ainsley Pearce, the goalkeeper, but luckily he didn't give it, because I think the people would have seen the referee in the bad spotlight for this, but he was fair. He gave the goal, which rightly should have stood. He did referee Derby's 1-1 draw also at the start of the season against Cardiff. He gave Cardiff a penalty in that game as well, so not afraid to give a penalty or two. I haven't looked at his whole stats, but in that game, I think Derby got a penalty that game. I'm sure they did, and they missed. I might be wrong in that, but yeah, that's referee watch. Hopefully he has a good game. It's going to be tough going forward. I think I keep mentioning it. I've mentioned the crowd a few times getting off players' backs, but especially the referee for this type of game. Even if probably you get a fair challenge, but a heavy challenge would, for example, a tackle like Cash against Krovinovic this season at West Brom. It was a lovely tackle, but Bilic went mad, the fans went mad. And it puts the referee under pressure, but he doesn't have to deal with that now. He doesn't hear people shouting at the TV screens that the referees all sorts of names. I can't repeat on this channel because even though I get 15 views per video, I don't want to get demonetized if it ever was to take off this channel, or don't want to get it removed also. But yeah, he won't hear that, so he's got to, control the game, don't let it get away from him. We have seen the last few games though at Forest that 2 players have been sent off. It's a derby game. I've seen a few red cards in this fixture. Dexter Blackstock for Forest, Tom Huddleston to name a couple, Dean Moxey as well. And come to mind, 'cause he got sent off in the playoff final, and just reminded me of what a terrible player he was. I don't know how he carved out a career for that long at a high level. Hope he's not watching this, but I doubt he would be. But yeah, as the referee, got to have a great game, especially for fans going forward. We want to see fair and accurate. I think referees are really cautious about giving out yellow cards as well, as we've seen in the restart. The red cards that have been given at Forest had no complaints, but the yellow cards really have been, you have to commit a few fouls. I think, as we see Corey Smith the other day when he kicked Ribeiro on the floor, would he have been sent off if it was a normal game at City Ground and the fans were on the back? Maybe not sent off, but he at least would have got a yellow card, but he didn't, because I think the referee's not got the hounding of the fans saying off, for a challenge. So if you can control the game, for a big game like this, then he'll have done a good job, because I think Forest and referees do not mix well this season. But that's it from the news of the camps and the previous fixtures. But it's going to be a difficult game for Forest, we're not going to lie here. I think maybe that the hardcore Forest fans, the biased Forest fans, if you like, will say, oh yeah, it's an easy game, or we can easily beat them. I mean, we can easily beat Derby. It's going to be a hard fought win. It pains me to say it, if we'd have played if the fixtures had come out and we'd have played them at the start of the year, then I think we would have. But this great run they're on now is going to be difficult to break down. Derby. They've got confidence and they've got us in their sights. But on the flip side, we want to be that team that starts their downfall, if you will. So, for example, if we win on Saturday and then they lose to West Brom in their next game, the playoffs, with everyone winning around them or the results around them, the playoffs become a bit more further away again, and we can be like, oh well, we started that. If we'd not beat them in that game, then they might still be on this great run. So we'll be looking to go there with 3 points. I don't doubt that. We'll set up as we normally do. Attack on when we can. Let Derby have the majority of the ball. I think they're that sort of team anyway. That's what Koku likes to do. Play with the ball on the floor. No, he'll let Derby come at us. I don't think we'll have a lot of the ball. Probably see between 40 and 30% possession, if I'm quite honest. I might be wrong in that aspect, but I'll just see them having the ball and then us counter-attacking when we can. It is really going to be difficult to call this one. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be sitting on the fence for this one, myself included. I don't think it's going to be a boring draw like we seen at Pride Park last season when we drew 0-0 under Karanka. I think there is going to be goals in this one. It's going to be 0-0 now, isn't it? I've said that. We'd take it, keep the run going. I hope they're a winning run as well. But Derby are there to catch us. We're there to pull away and put pressure on the top two heading into the 3 o'clockers on Saturday. It's going to be a tough one. It really is. But I won't say Derby are the best, but the old saying goes, to be the best you have to beat the best. I don't say Derby are the best, but not this season anyway. But we do have to beat the difficult teams. And Forest have been really strong doing that this season. Our record against the top 6, top 10 has been excellent, rather than the record against probably the bottom 10, and that's what probably will cost Forest if they miss out on automatic promotion or even the playoffs. But if we get this win, it's one step closer to the playoffs, and it's denting Derby's hopes and doing a Derby double, so what more can you want? Hope you'll all be watching, of course, from a safe distance at the pub if you do decide to go, because pubs are opening. God, what a crazy idea that was, Derby Forest on that day, especially. I know it's not going to lock the whole country down because Forest and Derby are playing, but here it would have been not ideal, but would have been logical. But hopefully you do enjoy it wherever you watch it. It's going to be a massive game. I'll be back with my review on the Sunday or the Monday. I'll let you know on Twitter. If you follow me on social media, you'll be able to see. The links will be in the description for that. But yeah, that's my review, guys. I think it's going to be a difficult game for Forest going forward. It is a longer review than normal, but like I say, there was so much to talk about going forward, especially because it's a big game for us. I want to talk more in depth about it, and I hope I've managed to do that. And been more entertaining than my usual, especially with my Bristol. I wasn't really happy with my Bristol City review of the game. I think because not a lot happened. But yeah, guys, we're going to be going to Pride Park without any fans. It's going to be weird, but again, hopefully without having Derby booing and jeering everything we do, it gives the players the chance to play their stuff, and good game that we know we can do. And hopefully we can come away with 3 points, which will be a massive 3 points at this stage of the season. And it will halt the Derby run, as I keep mentioning, that they're on. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you are all staying safe, as always. And I hope you're all ready for the game. You're a bit nervous as well. It's normal to be nervous. I'm a bit nervous for it, because I just don't want to lose. I hate losing to Derby, even if this wasn't, for me, this is the biggest Derby game since I've known Forest Derby, due to the fact is both teams are got something to play for. Normally we play Derby and they're in the playoff spots, or we're mid-table. We haven't really got anything to play for, but this is such a big game in both clubs' season, and they're both going to be going out for the win. and hopefully the red half of the East Midlands, and the East Midlands will always be red, will come away with it and keep this great run post-lockdown going, and this great run against Derby going. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Like I say, it is a longer preview than normal. I hope you have enjoyed the video, though. Give us a like, share, subscribe. I sound like a proper YouTuber now saying that, don't I? But yeah, guys, also just want to say as well before I do go, a big shout out to people who have still been watching the channel. I know I always joke about the view count, but if you are still listening from, since my previews and reviews, I really appreciate the support, and just watching the videos means a lot, and it means that you are liking it. I do take, feedback and any suggestions going forward. Just let me know what you'd like to hear. If you'd like to come on at some point. I know it sounds, this is going to be a channel where anyone and everyone can come on, and talk about Forest, and it'd be nice to have a debate with someone. If you're ever interested, let me know. But like I say, tell your friends about it as well. We are trying to get the channel on the map at some point. It would be good, but at the minute I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, and hopefully you are too. But yeah, guys, other than that, thanks for listening. I hope you will be watching the game on Saturday or listening at some point. I think, majority of you will, unless something comes up, which will be excusable. But yeah, it's a nervous game, but we hopefully can build on this, head up towards the table, and maybe put pressure on the top two. And who knows, I could be eating my words come the end of the season in regards to Forest finishing in the top two. But yeah, guys, cheers for listening. Ready for Saturday. Hopefully we can beat the Sheep, keep the record going, stop their run, and give a smile on the faces of all Forest fans who can't be at the games at the moment. So take it easy, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Keep a look on social media. And as always, come on, you Reds.